Good morning, guys. Welcome back to Aksharadhare. I'm Devraj. So I hope you guys are enjoying your days, your life, and also learning rate and earning rate. I hope you guys are following the tips which I have given in the previous videos, and I hope those tips were useful. Today is 13th December 2023. So before going to start the newspaper reading, the Hindu newspaper reading, I would request you guys to please subscribe the channel, like and comment if you like the video. Please share it with your friends. It may be useful for somebody to utilize the opportunities from the Aksharadhare and the team. So let's start reading the newspaper and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I am requesting you. I am repeating once again for you guys. So let's start reading the newspaper, the Hindu, which is very important for the point of examination. This is the front page. The Hindu arrest passes bill on CEC and EC appointment. 74% Indians could not afford a healthy diet in 2021. 23 soldiers killed in attack on police post. UAPA and its interference with liberty. Court's observations and its application. Tamil Nadu takes on Haryana in semi-final. Bhajanlal Sharma will be new CM of Rajasthan. Cash census DKS counters Kargi's charge. Government to set up task force to prevent female feticide. Retail inflation rises to 5.5% in November. Elderly couple found murdered at home. Bomb threat to Rajbhavan turns out to be Hawks man held. The farmer had to come Bangalore and decided to prank the police. Probe into Hawks bomb threat emailed to schools its roadblock. State government plans to rejuvenate Mysore paper mills minister. O farm tragedy Biscom rectifies 1206 hazardous optical fiber cables. BBMP frames SOP to fell dangerous trees. Ahead of New Year, drugs worth 21 crore seized from Nigerian man. Accused used to carry drugs by hiding them in the chocolate boxes, soap covers, bed sheets. Man arrested for cheating 18 NGOs. Government to clear encroachments on BBMP BDA properties. India International University of Legal Education and Research, Goa. CCP remains headless. SD Sharanappa was transferred out on September 5, less than a year after he took over. Couple arrested for cheating senior citizens. India can emerge as a lead construction market globally by 2028. Gadkari. Elderly couple found murdered at home. Police have taken their son and his wife into custody for questioning. 70-year-old man and his 65-year-old wife were found murdered in their house at Sulibele University near Bengaluru on Sunday. Ramakrishna was bludgeoned to death with an iron rod while Munim Ramakka sustained multiple injuries on her hands and neck. Based on a complaint by Shakuntala, the couple's eldest daughter, Sulibele's police registered a case of murder and took the youngest son Simhamurthy and his wife Bhagyamma into custody for questioning. In a complaint, Shakuntala accused Narasimhamurthy and Bhagyamma of killing her parents to take over the property. The couple have four daughters and one son, all of who are married. Narasimhamurthy had been living with his wife in a different place for the last 16 years. Narasimhamurthy is employed in a private firm employee. He is an active member of a Kannada organization. The initial probe revealed that Narasimhamurthy was unhappy with his parents' desire to divide their property equally among their children, raising suspicion of a potential motive for the murder. Mallikarjuna Baldandi, Superintendent of Police, Bangalore, visited Kurubarpeti to supervise the investigation. The couple might have been murdered on December 9th. It came to light on December 10th when Shakuntala tried to reach her parents. When they did not answer her calls, she went to their house. The door was locked from outside. According to the police, she noticed the slippers of her parents lying outside. She called the police for help. When police broke open the door, they found the couple lying in a pool of blood. Body of tribal man found partially devoured in Bandipur Tiger Reserve. Home guards to get uniform honorarium of 750 for a day. Karnataka needs SC approval for de-reservation of forest lands and center. Train services between Bangalore and Mangalore to be it from December 14th to 22. University of Allahabad. DK's counter Kage says he is not opposed to caste census. I only wanted to be undertaken scientifically, he says, and adds that there have been complaints that enumerators did not go house to house. Ethnal launches a revealed attack on BSY and Sun in Assembly. Europe blackmailed High Command. State clears Foxconn's a total investment of 21,911 crore. State holding talks over introducing digital stamp. Sugar factories instructed to install digital weighing scales. State to come out with legislation to regulate hookah bars in Bangalore. Opposition withdraws Dharna. Stripping case HC restrains TV channels from telecasting interaction with victim. Three bills tabled in assembly. A walk through Kaman Park and more of Bangalore. Siddharth Raja, the founder of Nandi Valley Walks, believes that history needs more foot soldiers who are excited to learn, dig, and discover new things and transmit it to the next generation. Filmmaker Pawan Kumar makes a comeback on stage with a one-man show after half a decade. Bring Home the Light, made by the marginalized women in the Chief Chamarajanagar district in Karnataka. These strings of fairy lights come in different shapes and colors. Deccan Light delights arrive in city. Art to the poor. Slew of steps to curb a rush at Sabarimala. Kerala CM Pinarayi Vijayan chairs a special meeting in Idukki to discuss the rush. TDB extends the darshan time by an hour. Spot booking to be limited. Separate queue for women and children started. Parking to be streamlined at Nilakal. Due to trekking through paused routes will be regulated. Congress MPs protest in Parliament. 7.4 4 crores sought for purchase of 38 vehicles for Karnataka ministers. CM. Jungle Raj in Kerala. Governor. An anti-terror law and its interference with liberty. Let's read this editorial page. A judgment on November 17th, 2023 by the division bench of the Jammu and Kashmir High Court declared the last hurdle for the release of journalist Fahad Shah. Mr. Shah, who had been granted bail in three cases already and had also seen preventive detention orders against him acquitted, was in custody because of allegations in case FIR number 1 bar 2022 PS JIC bar SIA Jammu. Charges had been framed by the trial court in the case earlier this year, and he was standing trial for various offences under the Penal Code and Foreign Contribution Act 2010, as well as offences punishable under sections 13 and 18 of the Unlawful Activities Act 1967. The High Court, in its November 17 judgment, has not only granted Mr. Shah bail out but also partially set aside the other framing charge, as it has found no grounds to charge him for any offences other than Section 13 of the UAPA and under the FCRA. While doing so, the High Court made notable observations on the interpretation and application of UAPA, India's primary anti-terror statute, in matters of personal liberty, national defamation as terror. The use of UAPA to arrest and detain individuals in fact situations that are either entirely unconnected to actual incidents of violence or individual tangentially connected with such incidents has been well documented. There are important legal reasons for this charge. The text of terrorism offences under UAPA is rather vague, and when read together with the preparatory offense of Section 18, allows the statute to cast an unimaginably wide net to label seemingly innocent acts such as hosting an article online as a preparatory or conspiratorial conspiratorial act to commit terror. Together with the catch all nature of the offense, there are procedural recalibrations of the ordinary rules of the game brought about by UAP. The latter is most apparent in section 43D5 of UAPA, which places an embargo on courts from granting bail if they find that the police materials establish the accusations as prime facie are true. These twin features of the UAPA regime were what contributed to Mr. Shah's arrest and continued detention. In its judgment, the High Court of Jammu and Kashmir offered a timely reminder to other courts and law enforcement agencies that the vast interference with liberty permitted under the anti-terror law requires greater, not lesser, circumspection in its enforcement. On matter of substantive law, Mr. Shah's counsel had argued that the charges under Section 18 were legally unsustainable as the state had not linked its act of publishing an article with terrorist acts punished under the law, to which the government started to argue that publication of the article was an act of terror as it sought to harm property in the form of India's reputation. The High Court ruled that to agree with the government would flip criminal law on its head by creating an altogether new offense. Treating allegations of defaming the country as terrorism seemed like a bridge just too far to cross. Arrest and detention. On matters of arrest and detention, the High Court placed before itself an important question. Does Section 43D5 mathematically deny bail in every case allegations are prima facie are true? To answer this, it juxtaposes the image of a bomber, an active threat, with that of a shepherd who has been forced to divulge information of our finances. While both commit different offenses under UAPA, attracting Section 43D5 to suggest that the second should be treated on a par with the first outrages all notions of common sense. According to the High Court, provisions such as Section 4345 were meant to prevent the easy release of persons such as the imaginary bomber and could not become insurmountable obstacles preventing the release of persons such as the shepherd. Untimely, ultimately, the High Court held both the law enforcement agency as well as the court must apply their mind before exercising their powers of arrest and sanctifying their further detention to ensure that only in cases where a clear and present danger is evinced are persons taken into custody. As the High Court in parts, Shaw's case delivered findings that may revolutionize the workings of UAPA, I would argue that it has not. To conclude that the anti-terror law did not extend as far as to punish the alleged defamation of the country was not a radical finding. Similarly, arguments and approach proportionality by invoking a clear and present danger test to restrict arrests are not novel, as the High Court itself acknowledges the role of prior judicial decisions such as Joginder Kumar on this point. What about compensation or damages for wrongful arrest and confinement? What about accountability of the state to redress the years that the accused would never reclaim? Part Shaw's case offers nothing on these points of note. Perhaps such ideas are still too far up to fathom in a legal regime where courts are deciding whether a statutory rule can oust the fundamental right to life and liberty altogether. Deprivations of liberty, for better or for worse, the Indian state has witnessed a penchant for arbitrary deprivations of liberty since its founding, unwillingly equipping its court with enough means to try and secure the promise of liberty, using UAPA to present the alleged reparation of the country as an act of terror to justify the arrest and prolonged detention of a person is only a footnote in that lang, rather undistinguished history. What the judgment in part shows reminds us, as did the Supreme Court of India's decision in Varnam Ganslaves some months ago, is that there is no need for revolutionary turns by courts to secure personal liberty in the face of oppressive laws and their enforcement. The path to hold the state accountable can be easily charted by those willing to do so. All it takes is a commitment to the underlying logic of state action being accountable to questions. At the same time, there is also the path of comparably lesser resistance for agencies and courts, where the official version is accepted without questions. The High Court, in part Shaw's case, reminds the powers that be that only the former course of action is blessed by the Constitution. Let's go to the next. Patent exclusions. Madras High Court shows the way. Let's go to this. In the realm of pharmaceutical patents, which have profound implications for access to medicines, it is important to have clarity as to the precise boundaries of the scope of patent protection. Such clarity is critical in ensuring that all stakeholders are aware of the extent to which patent protection can and cannot be granted for a particular invention, thus advancing both innovation and accessibility. One area where this is especially important relates to the exclusion to patentability set out in Section 3 of the Patents Act. This provision contains a set of filters that every invention must pass through for it to be patentable. Apart from the famous Novartis judgment from the Supreme Court of India on one such exclusion relating to Section 3D, and the need for an invention to showcase advanced therapeutic efficacy. Indian courts have not offered bright line rules on the interpretation of other such exclusions. The judgments against this backdrop, two recent judgments from Justice Senthil Kumar Ramamurthy of the Madras High Court are notable. The first, Nova Chimes versus Assistant Controller of Patents and Designs, relates to Section 3E, which excludes from protection those compositions that amount to a mere aggregation of their components. The court holds that Section 3E does not exclude from the scope of protection aggregates that are already known. This therefore means that if any ingredient independently satisfies the requirements for the grant of a patent, irrespective of its inclusion in a composition under Section 3E, it would be patent eligible. The court's close scrutiny of this precise legislative text stands out. It further adds that the rejection of the composition in the instant case was justified due to the patentee's failure to produce evidence to substantiate that the invention was more than a sum of its parts. This insistence on producing evidence to demonstrate the synergistic synergistic properties of a composition of multiple ingredients is a welcome move from the perspective of clarifying the precise scope of Section 3E. The second case is Hong Kong and Shanghai University versus Assistant Controller of Patents, which relates to Section 3I. This provision in a nutshell excludes from the scope of protection inventions which consist of many processes for the medicinal, surgical, curative, prophylactic, diagnostic, therapeutic, or other treatment of human beings or animals to render them disease free or to enhance their economic productivity. The judgment sheds a considerable light on the kinds of diagnoses that are excluded by this filter. Specifically, it was held that the bar is not merely confined to an in vivo invasive diagnosis which involves conducting tests on the body. Equally, the bar is not so broad as to cover all processes involved in or having some value for a diagnosis. Instead, the court proposed a standard of examining the claims in the context of the complete specification to determine whether it specifies a process for making a diagnosis for a disease and the species if a given test is per se capable of diagnosing a disease even if it is not definitive, it would be patent ineligible, and if the test cannot diagnose the disease it would be patent eligible. To place out the test, the court provided an illustration of a non-invasive test for diagnosing a prenatal disease. If the process in question cannot uncover the pathology of the fetus, it would not be a diagnostic test and hence not hit by the bar under section 3I. Need for bright line rules. In light of the fact that research and development costs for the development of new pharmaceutical drugs and processes are extremely high, and the need to prevent the grant of broad non-monopolies in the public interest. Bright line rules are very critical. Bright lines rules can help bring some much needed consistency and certainty in the Indian Patents Office. Decision making process. Bright lines rules simplify decision making and are easier to administer and would help reduce the burden of the Indian Patent Office. Such judgments will provide inventors clarity about the extent and scope of production that can be potentially sought for the inventions and will aid civil society groups that intend to oppose patent applications by helping them understand the boundaries of the law. The present mix up a lengthy patent prosecution process along with the lack of certainty might not be the best path forward in terms of encouraging innovation. Bright line rules will allow inventors and pharmaceutical companies to better weather potential challenges to their patents and increase their chances of success in patent infringement and litigation. At least in the case of pharmaceuticals, the potential issues that could arise due to bright line rules would be counterbalanced by the built-in safeguards within the statute. Interestingly, a dialogical function has been performed by the Madras High Court by suggesting that the legislature can consider the exclusion of in vitro processes and counterbalance the same by providing for compulsory licensing. If there is a legislative vacuum and the executive has not satisfactorily addressed an issue, the judiciary has an important role to play in making its contribution in furthering the public health interests of the nation. In matters pertaining to pharmaceutical and medical patents, courts need to be acutely conscious of the competing interests at play and fight a robust balance find that all parties can live with. As patent law jurisprudence in India is still at a relatively nascent stage, the courts have the opportunity to interpret the scope and ambit of the provisions of the Patents Act 1970, taking into the account the socio-economic conditions of our country and the far-reaching consequences of their decisions. The way forward for the India Alliance. Tackling the Chennai's flood problem. The scale of floods may be different this time, but the problem areas are the same. Online impersonation cases toughest to investigate. Telangana, Karnataka, Uttar Pradesh, and Maharashtra were the cyber crime hotspots in 2022. Labor unrest at Idiki ends. Bhajanlal Sharma will be new Rajasthan CM. Rajya Sabha passes bill for appointment of CCACs. Lok Sabha passes bills for women's quota in J&K Puducherry. Shah introduces a rare redrafted criminal bills in the Lok Sabha. Biden unlikely to visit India for Republic Day. Aggressively probing attack on Indian consulate in San Francisco, says FBI chief. Low profile Bachchan is known for grasp for organizational matters. The Rajasthan CM designate has served BJP for more than 3 decades. A Brahmin, he joined ABVP during his school days and took part in various activities of the outfit, including the Kashmir March in 1990. He joined BJYM a year later. India bloc should finalize seat sharing plan soon. SB leader. Don't interfere in Manipur internal case issues. Biren tells Mizoram CM. Mohan Yadav to take oath as MP CM today. Modi to attend event. With proper references, emojis, and sarcasm on X handle, Modi gears up for the LS polls. 74% Indians could not afford healthy diet in 2021 report. Railway board lots Vande Bharat rakes for Kashmir. CBSE class 10-12 exams to begin on February 15th. Modi kicks off Global AI Summit. Infant dumped in borewell rescued in Odisha. When Wali aroused Rama's ire. Yemen's Houthi rebels climb attack on Norway flagged tanker. Israeli forces kill 4 Palestinians in occupied West Bank territory. BBC stopped to launch new company for Indian language services. China's Xi Jinping visits Vietnam in a bid to counter US influence. With strikes across Gaza, Israel keeps up its attacks. More than 18,000 Palestinians killed, over 80% of the population of 2.3 billion displaced. Israeli police storm a hospital in northern Gaza, pushing all men including medics, into the courtyard. 23 Pakistani soldiers killed as Taliban linked group drives vehicle into security post. Nawaz Sharif acquitted in grabbed fit to contest polls. Deadlocked at COP28, climate talks forces negotiations into outcome. UK Prime Minister Rishi Sunak faces leadership test over his Rwanda plan. Base effects boosted IIP growth to 11.7% in October. India paid $84.2 billion for BBL in October for Russia Oil. Hindalco merged 18,800 crore battery file unit in Odisha. SpiceJet Q2 net loss narrows to 4,828 crore. Propel Innovations India made e-dump trucks. Ashwini Tanisha duo moves to end number 24 in the BWF rankings. Swiatek emulates Serena with a second straight WTA award. Maninder, Nitin and Srikanth win it for Bengal Warriors. Novak and Jeevan get it right for Benin's Brigade. South Africa crashes past India and rain affected T20I. Mighty TN, the big obstacle in Haryana's path to a maiden final. Lambani is given for 13 plus Nepal. Book India's semi-final berth. Host Chennai and Bengaluru FC will both look for the elusive win. Ami and Umadevi entered the 15 red snooker quarterfinals. Nadal and Alcaraz to play Netflix exhibition in Las Vegas. Sports Minister revoked sacking of cricket board. Nigeria's Seaman named African Player of the Year. No one goes to a sporting contest just to watch the rain. Paris Saint Germain survival injures and crucial Dortmund tie. Noah Lyles and Faith Kipyogan named track athletes of the year. Jolted into taking fitness seriously and a shift in perspective. Thalai was Captain Sagar Rathi's return to form after a terrifying injury at an important stage last season has been a journey he did not anticipate. Points, milestones, none of it matters. As long as I am on the mat and doing everything possible to help my team win. I'm happy, he says. In the chaos of turbulence, scientists chase glimpses of hidden harder. Turbulence is far from a random, it adds a deep level of organization. This is why turbulence attracts scientists from across disciplines, providing a reminder that mysteries of nature are not the sole province of particle colliders and giant telescopes. So one could be churning right under your nose. Will an AI canvas deceive voters? Text and context, last page was text and context. The crime proceeds CD attaches in bank fraud cases 64,920 create. Intro. The average speed of passenger trains at 2019 to 20 level 23.6 in kilometer per hour. Instances of aircraft malfunctioning in 2023. 406 domestic airlines reported. Public sector banks that have transferred NPAs to NARCL. Quantity of basmati rice exported in April October. India's extreme rainfall corridor. How has the Indian monsoon have been affected by the global warming? What has a new study on large-scale extreme rainfall found, and what is its significance? How will this study improve forecast and reduce risks associated with large-scale rainfall events? What are the implications of recent Argentine elections? Who is Javier Milei, the new president of Argentina? What are the regional ramifications of his leadership? What does this mean for Peronism? No English. Understanding the debates around anarcho capitalism. The term has recently gained popularity with Javier Milei, a self-proclaimed anarcho capitalist, winning the presidential elections of Argentina. The political philosophy calls for the abolition of the state and for law and order to be controlled by private companies. Here is a quiz on different events that happened on December 13th. This is the last page, guys. Continue reading newspaper at least 2 hours to make you better in English communication. I hope you guys have enjoyed the newspaper reading, and if you guys have any doubts or comments, you guys can leave the comment in the comment box. And also, don't forget to share the video if you like, and please don't forget to subscribe to my channel to get the notifications if it is updated anything. See you in the upcoming videos, guys. Have a great day. Bye bye. Take care.